What is up, you guys? The Fallout What If you're here, and today I'm going to be doing What If Deku was technically Koda's brother, but you guys were probably wondering who this guy was. Like I said, he's from, I think, Katakoi Reborn or Hitman Reborn. I don't know how to, I think that's how they pronounce it. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, this is him. To be honest, I really don't know what else to tell you, but anyway, where we last left off was basically Deku was just training for the 10 months. Now, here's what I'm going to get to right now. The personality that he has is kind of weird because right now he is trying to like somewhat retain his happiness, but at the same time he knows that he needs to be strong for his little brother. So right now, he's just trying different ones, and there's some that suits him best. One is basically where he's just, trying to talk to a lot of girls and just, hitting on people. But at the same time, it's like, that's probably just only one. And after all that, it's kind of like he's kind of like Obito in a certain way. Or basically Madara. He's just trying out different styles, but he knows like deep down inside he's pretty much going to destroy anyone. Deku is not going to be also how would I say this? He's going to use electricity. I don't know if I'm going to give him one all for one or one for all. I will put that down on the comments or something like that on the polls. So anyway, let's begin. Now, where we last left off was basically Deku was just going around and talking talking to a few people. And basically, how would I say this? He was just going to, walk around, just his house, or, yeah, basically it's his house. Mandalay, I did talk about Mandalay in the thing, but I referred to Mandalay as, what's called the mother's sister, and I think that was her sister. Hopefully I'm right about this. So I'm just gonna refer to her as Mandalay. Mandalay does talk to freaking Deku and just like make sure he's okay. Why? Well, because Deku wasn't always, Deku was acting differently, acted differently the times that they talked. But Deku right now is just trying to feel happy. And he is putting on a good face right now for Kota. Kota right now is basically 2 years, I think, or a year younger than his canon counterparts. So basically, he has a kind of hatred for heroes. But at the same time, he knows that his big brother is going to be a hero. And Kota has fought Deku when doing this, when talking about the Hero Society and all that stuff. And Deku just was holding his brother and telling him this. Kota, as much as I still do not like the fact that what heroes did, I have to be a hero to help out the world. Even if I do die, which is unlikely, I'm not going to abandon you, because doing that would just be stupid. You're the only family, besides Mandalay, that I have left. Please, let's just forget about we talked about this day, and let us just return to this happy world, or at least what's left of it. You do not have to fear too much, Kota. Just know that I'm here for you. Now, Kota is somewhat happy about this, because it means that Kota gets to actually... Hold on. Oh boy, let's see. Hold on here. Anyway, Deku is just talking to freaking Kota and just telling him that they should just, eat and do some stupid things right now, which they do. They just go, let's just say they go to a burger shop or something. Let's just say it's called McDonald's. Let's just call it McDonald's, all right? And basically, Deku was just talking, with the manager and all that stuff, or talking to the like cashier, and pretty much there was a villain who was coming around and fighting, and this guy is probably what? Let's say he's 6 feet. He has a lot of muscle on him, and he's just shooting. How do I say it? Shooting. Let's just say he had a bullet quirk, where basically he shoots guns out of his fingers. So the guy is just holding everybody hostage, and Deku is very scared right now. Why? Well, because he's not old. He's still 13 or 14 right now. He is fearful about things. But this is when Kota says that my big brother will kick your ass. He just says that out loud, saying that he is going to be the strongest hero in the world. And basically Kota, even though he doesn't like heroes, he knows that his big brother will help him out. This is when the guy turns around to Kota, and Deku just starts charging up his electricity, and basically running to the guy. The guy starts shooting. He starts shooting the floor and tells him, "Do not try anything funny." And Deku just puts out his hands and starts throwing up electricity in the freaking guy's face, shocking the guy, which basically somewhat stuns him for a while. Deku just how do I say it, grabs his face and slams him down to the ground. Now this is when the guy gets back up because he's kind of dazed, and then he tells the guy, "Kid, that was the wrong move." And Deku just punches him straight in the freaking gut. After that, he uppercuts him, then kicks him in the face once more. And then this is when Deku tells Kota to shoot water at him. And Kota is shooting a lot of freaking water, as much as he can at least. And this is when the guy's like, "Really? You're just trying to get me wet here? Ah, jeez, I just got these, and my shoes are wet, damn it." And this is when Deku was like, "I wouldn't be worrying about the shoes if I were you." And the guy was like, "Wait, what?" And Deku just puts his palm on the middle of the guy's chest and shocks him with 100 volts of electricity through his whole body. But this is not just ordinary lightning. This is green lightning. There's different kinds of colors of the lightning, but this is green, which basically gives out this much more, it feels much more painful. Let's say it's like feeling like you're on fire for a while. Now, he starts shooting him with 100 volts of electricity every time he keeps punching him, and the water around him just shocks him. He feels it all over his body. The guy tries to grab him, but this is when Deku just grabs him straight in the arms and shoots out 100,000 volts of electricity, and it shoots all around this guy. And basically the guy just fries up and is on the ground, passed out. Now this is when everybody starts cheering for him. But a hero grabs him and says, "Young man, do you know that you're not supposed to use your quirk?" And Deku was like, "Wait, what?" And the guy just says, "Come on, you have to go, we're going to the precinct." And this is when basically Deku is, how do I say it, being grabbed, and Deku was like, "Wait a minute, I know that I was called use my quirk and all, but that guy was trying to shoot at us." And he was like, "Yeah, I know that, but you still did something bad. Now, come here and just, look, you're not going to get as much as in trouble, alright? Just stay calm and nothing bad will happen." This is when Kota is running to Deku, and Deku just says, "Kota." And Kota's feeling scared. Deku just says this: "Go home, call Mandalay, and we'll basically get through this, alright?" And this is when Kota says, "But what about Kota? I know you're fearful right now. I know that you're scared that you might lose me. But do not worry about me. If I wanted to, I could get out of this guy's grip, no problem. But you have to know this. Just listen to what I said, and everything will be okay. Now, go. And bring the rest of your food. And this is when, basically, Kota just runs away. The guy tells him to stop, but Deku just grabs him by the arms and says, "You're not going anywhere, but you're not going anywhere. So you might as well just take me to jail right now, or whatever I have to be in right now." The guy says, get off of him," and Deku is just telling him right now, "If you so much as touch my brother, any way, shape, or form, I will cry thunder, and you will be shocked until you die." The guy feels scared about this. Kind of hard for him to comply, but this is when another hero, for some reason, joins up in the fray and says, "Have no fear, because I am here." And this is when All Might shows up. Now, All Might is looking at the three people right now. And there's a teenager grabbing a guy's hand. There's a person shocked on the floor. And there's basically one of the heroes feeling scared. All Might is thinking, what is happening here? Why do I see this? And this is when Deku says, the guy over there on the ground was basically shocked because he was trying to shoot at us. Not only that, because we had because I had the upper hand, I basically stopped him, and well, basically, you could see right here, he's just electrocuted and passed out. But the guy right here told me that he was going to take me to jail or take me somewhere. Not only that, he was going to go after my little brother for no reason. And after all that, I just threatened him. And Deku is just putting on a serious face right now. He has no time to be laughing. And this is when All Might says, I see. Well, young man, this might be your lucky day. Have you ever perhaps ran into a sludge villain? And this is when Deku was like, yeah, I did, but why do you ask? And All Might says, okay. Well, this could help me out a lot more, but this could help me out much more. Young man, how would you like to be trained by the #1 hero himself? And Deku was like, wait a minute, what? And he says, don't worry, I'm going to train you. And Deku says, wait a minute, what for though? I committed a crime. I used my quirk without permission, or without having a hero license. Not only that, I'm threatening a hero. You do know that I'm technically the bad guy right now. And he says, yes, I do understand that. But at the same time, if anybody here has a brother and they didn't want them to get in trouble, they would do the exact same thing. Or at least the good ones will. Now, I'm going to help you out. You, take the villain on the ground, and I'll take this young man right here. And Deku was like, alright, I'll just take him, and yeah, we'll just, we'll get out of your hair, All Might. And Deku was actually very happy right now, because this is All Might. He actually has a respect for All Might. Someone who does things with a smile on his face. Someone who at least helps out as much as he can. And Deku just talks to freaking, Deku just talks to the freaking, how would I say it? He just talks to All Might. Hold on. Deku talks to All Might, and All Might says, well, young man, as much as I'm happy that you, saved this whole freaking, you saved the whole freaking thing, I know that basically your brother, Kota, I believe that was his name, he was running and crying, and I talked to him. He told me that you were stopping a bad guy and a hero's trying to take you to jail. And basically, he told me a lot and about how much you use the electricity. And then I realized that back then there was a sludge villain that actually, well, how would I say this, got electrocuted, but was more fried, just like the big guy over there. So I decided, heck, why not? To see if you were going to be the one who I want to be either my successor or somebody who I want to train to become very good at his quirk. And Deku just says, sir, I understand you're probably happy about this, but I have this kind of quirk on me. I don't think that you can train me in my electricity quirk. Not a lot of people have electrical type quirks. Well, not the ones that I know of. And this is when All Might says, "Ha, nonsense, young man. There's a lot of people with the similar kind of quirks, but you're just going to have to trust me on this. Besides, I could give you something that could boost your powers to a whole different level. All you just have to do is trust me on this one." And Deku says, "Alright, I'll play a game. Okay, so what do we do then?" And this is when All Might says, Good. Now, come with me. We have a lot to do." And he picks up Deku and just basically starts running running very fast. And Deku was like, wait a minute, this guy's going to make me throw up. Basically, he didn't grab him correctly, so Deku was like flapping around in the wind while All Might's running around. And after that, 5 to 10 minutes later, basically, Deku is on the ground, feeling like his spirit's gonna come out of his body. And All Might says, "Wake up, young man. This is no time to sleep. We have work to do." And this is when he tells Deku all this stuff. And Deku just sees the beach. And mind you, this is 5 months, right now at this time point, it's 5 months during the whole training thing. So, Deku just goes around and talks to freaking All Might saying, wait a minute, what are we doing here? And he says, "We're going to do your training, of course." And this is when Deku says, "But my training, I already keep training these days." And he says, "Ha! That is mere child's play. I'm going to have you do something much more, use much more of your powers." And this is when Deku is like, "What do you mean you're going to have me use much more of my powers?" "Simple, kid. We're going to make you buffer and leaner. Or at least make you strong enough to at least withstand my quirk." And Deku just says, "Wait a minute, your quirk? How does that work? That's your quirk. Nobody knows what's your quirk. All we just know is that you have a strong, you basically are strong enough to create tornado, or not tornadoes, change the weather. To have that happen would be very weird, though." And All Might says, "Yes, I understand. It's probably weird because you're never used to this. But I know one thing. You are stronger than you think. After seeing the villain lie down on the ground, you're able to outmaneuver him. Not only that, you have the ability to somewhat perceive his actions. After looking at all the bullets, you're probably just using different kinds of techniques. But if I can make you much more faster and stronger to use these techniques, and much more durable to withstand the techniques that you use, maybe you can come up with a stronger plan. Not only that, with a stronger moveset." And Deku's like, "Alright, I'm listening." And he says, "Ha! Good, young Midoriya. I mean, not Midoriya. Good, young man. Besides, your parents wouldn't mind me, taking you and, training you. And Deku said, yeah, I don't have any parents. Wait a minute, what? You don't have any parents? But your mother, not your mother, but your brother. Yes, sir. I was with the water heroes. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. So, where we last left off, Deku is basically just talking to All Might a few, a lot more, and then after that, they actually just start training. Deku does the beach much more faster than he did in the canon. So, basically, it took Deku, 4 months for training to be completed, and then just after that, pretty much All Might just says, well, it was supposed to take you up to at least a good up to 10 months. But for some reason, you got it down to 4. And that's pretty impressive these days. Not a lot of people have the, how would I say this? The ability just to do that and automatically, don't know, to be honest. I just know that you did a pretty good job. But anyway, you have to just get used to the power that you'll one day receive. And Deku just says, alright. I don't know if I want the ability, though. And All Might says, I understand that. But if you ever want to use my power, I would be honored if you did. And Deku just says, alright. Now, this is the whole part of the story where Deku just talks to his friends and starts being much more social. Because for some reason, all this stuff, for a very long time, he wasn't as social back then. So, he started doing all that. He becomes much more positive. Not only that, having Mandalay and the Wawa Pussycats always being there for him, it somewhat gives him much more of a shining hope. And then, a month after that, the UA entrance exam. Now, this is what happens. Deku just goes around and starts, just looking at how a lot of people are different, seeing how much they would do a lot of things. Deku is just somewhat excited, and he feels energized. He feels like he's going to explode. And this is when he trips. But then this is when he basically just somewhat shoots out electricity in his palm, and somewhat it's holding him up. And after that, he just gets back up. So when Achako was going to help him, she didn't really help him. But here's the thing. There is a ship. It's going to be a Kaminari and Shinso thing. And I pretty much like how these two are a duo and all that stuff. And besides all that, I never done a Shinso one. I think I never had, actually. So this might be one. A female Shinso and a female Kaminari. This is going to be fun. But anyway, Deku and the others are basically training. And while this is happening, Deku is just somewhat using his abilities, trying to see how this would work if he somewhat was holding onto something. Using electricity to hold onto something. And he found out that he can actually grab onto something and make the electricity in the shape of a hand. This is kind of weird for him, so pretty much, yeah. But anyway, give me a second here, people. Okay, I'm back. So, the whole thing with President Mike talking on the freaking thing, or talking to the freaking students about, the 0 pointers and all this stuff. Deku is basically near Bakugo, and Bakugo is looking at this guy, and he's like, who is this guy, and why is he here? Not only that, what's wrong with his head? Why does it look like it has horns? Or why is there horns on him? He's just... Well, that's kind of weird. He's just thinking, like, basically, oh, this guy has horns. He's basically weaker than me. Basically all that. Now, we get to the whole point in the anime where Deku just... is just hearing Ida speak to Deku, to talk about, how would I say this? To speak about how Deku just does his things. And Deku, or how is, yeah, pretty much Deku just, well, he talks to him. How would I say this? Okay, he talks to Ida, telling Ida to shut up. He really doesn't want to hear him, and that his shoes are untied. Basically, Ida just says, "Oh, my bad." Is about to tie his shoes, but then he hits his head on the ground, hits his head on the freaking table, and he's like, "Ah, crap!" And then he just says, "Okay, just going to tie my Wait a minute, I don't even have shoelaces. This, and Deku's like, oh, what an idiot. He's just lying down, he's just lying there, just looking, he's going to sleep, actually. That's what he's doing, that's the one thing he's going for. Deku is just, like, sleeping, and the guy was like, Ida can't just say anything, to be honest. He pretty much knows that, he's lost. So, Deku is going to just stay there sleeping until the whole freaking running thing happens. And 3, 2, 1, go! Because nothing actually happened since Deku was in another place. Or not in another place, it's because Ida's not there, Ida's not there right now. He's just basically in the back. And Deku starts running up to a bunch of these creatures. Deku eats one of the freaking pills and just turns into an adult. Why? Or he turns 20, to be honest. But anyway, Deku is just looking at all the people right here, and he's he knows what he's done this before, so he starts shooting electricity into a lot of freaking people's faces, to a lot of zero pointers, or not zero pointers, to a lot of robots. Deku's just punching as hard as he can, and just automatically teleports into another place known as electric current. Basically, when there's electricity in the air, or if something has a lot of electricity in it, or within them, or has a little bit, basically he can teleport to where that person is by using via electricity. It's a weird thing to use, but he's very fast. Think of him as Minato. And basically, Deku just pierces through another robot and just cuts another robot's head, basically charging in with 2 large horns. Now, this is when Deku automatically somewhat turns into to his normal form, and then Deku just starts just punching the freaking one of the robots in the face. After that, kicking him in the freaking head. After that, Deku is just charging into other robots, just shooting electricity using zappies. Now, basically, like I said, it was electrical. Think of his hands looking like pistols, and after that, shooting electricity out in the air. So, what happens is Deku is just shooting electricity, and he's also destroying a lot of the things. But this is when he hears a cry for help, and this isn't Ochako this time, this is Shinso. And Deku just sees Shinso and starts running to her, and just looking at how the zero pointer is going to do things. And then basically he's not strong enough to do it, but since he has one more pill, basically his time limit's not going to be as big, or pretty much he took one of those things and it only lasted for 2 minutes, but now this time it lasted for 30 seconds. Now this is when Deku just jumps up in the air, starts shooting out electricity, and then after that summoning a bunch of shooting thunder right into the freaking sky, with shooting it so much so that it creates a lot of nimbus clouds. Now, don't tell me you can tell me that I'm wrong on this kind of science, because I kind of messed up on some parts in science in my class, but I do know one thing. Deku is pointing down to the ground, shooting electricity, and all that happens is basically an electrical bull, or bull, yeah, basically the Tauros, starts shooting down to the sky and charging into the freaking zero pointer, shooting a bunch of red electricity into the air, which burns the metal and starts melting it at that point. And then after that, Deku well, not Deku, basically he how would I say this? Well, basically Deku just wins. He wins, and after all that stuff, basically he is, well, yeah, pretty much he basically wins. He's just first place. So this is when Deku just falls down to the ground and basically somewhat regains his balance and composure and lands on his feet. Now, Deku was looking around, and he was seeing freaking other people, and all of them looked at him weirdly. And this is when he finds out that his horns, they were small, but now they look much more bigger, much more weirder. He basically he grew his horns to the point where they look like longhorns. And Deku saw this and he was like, "Oh crap!" But they're up in the air, so it's just very weird for them. But anyway, Deku wins, and basically he gets first place. Now, hold on. Anyway, so like I was saying, Deku is just, well, pretty much he gets first place. 2 weeks later, him and Kota were playing around and just doing brotherly things. And this is when the thing for, All Might just steps up, and he says, "Young man, young Lambo." Yes, All Might. This is a pre-recorded message. Oh, okay. Okay, that was weird. And I am glad that you have gotten first place. You have been, you have been asked to be in Class 1A. Now, go on and, spend the rest of your weekend having a smile. And this is when he says, oh, okay, so, alright, that's nice. That's nice. Pretty much it. Deku is just going around and just talking to the others, and he is going and talking with Kota and Mandalay, saying that he's going to go with basically Shinso and Kaminari, since both of them are just doing their own thing. Deku is just wondering how did he do that? How did he do that electrical thing? It's very weird, but he might have done it but never actually knew about it. So pretty much Deku is just saying, "Alright, so okay. That was kind of weird of what I did." And this is when he's remembering how did he do that. He remembers that something happened while he was there. It felt like he teleported somewhere, but pretty much it was a dark place. It was very weird for him. But he saw All For One. And he looked straight at him, saying, "Young man, why are you here?" And this is when Deku starts to shoot up electricity, because he is pretty much fearful of this guy. And Deku just turned back went into the other, well, back to his other place. So it was very weird for him to do things. So Deku somewhat learned how to use this concoction to make him much more older, but at the cost of basically him not knowing what happened. So pretty much Deku just knows that he basically survived. He basically survived. So he's glad that, he didn't die, but it's somewhat weird for him right now. to do that and to somewhat live still, he's pretty much somewhat just, he needs to calm down. Now we get to the whole point of the story where basically him and Shinso were talking and all that stuff, and Deku just knows that he is very compassionate. But other than that, pretty much Deku is just talking to freaking Kaminari as well, since three of them are just going and watching the movies. They're basically just do their own thing, you know, since Deku is pretty much who he is. Now, these two like him a lot. But at the same time, they're scared that he may say no. Because what they see is someone who is calm, who is loving, but at the same time, they see a person who hits on chicks a lot. Not a good idea, not a good first impression, they may think. But anyway, Deku just get you know, they do their whole thing. After that, we get to the point of the story where basically Deku gets into Class 1A, talking with all that stuff. Bakugo and Ida basically are looking at him as competition. And Deku was also talking to freaking what was his face? Huh. I don't remember actually. So, Deku was saying fudge. I'm sorry, I forgot, but he talks to freaking Kaminari since she's the only one there. He wonders where Shinso is at, but Shinso is actually in Class 1B. Yeah, pretty much she's in Class 1B because she got high enough, since basically there's a guy involved in this now. So Deku just talks with her, and basically they do their whole thing. Aizawa's there, and they all see how Deku's horns look like now. They're actually black with and longer than it used to be. So it's weird for him, but they think that he has probably an electrical quirk, since they know he has an electrical quirk, but it was also a bull quirk. So probably his mother was a bull and her father was an electrical user, or probably the other way around. So Deku was just knowing that everybody's staring at him. But this is when Deku just, gets up and tells Aizawa what is it that he needs us to do. And basically Aizawa does this thing. I'm going to cut down to the whole point where basically Deku throws the ball. He grabs the ball and then starts shooting it up in the air. But there's one thing that's kind of cool about this. Basically, there's an electric thunderbolt or an electricity that's looking like a hand grabbing the ball. So basically, he's shooting it up into the air at so high, starting to the point where it's so high up in the air, and then basically he throws it up, and it just goes into outer space. Pretty much that's it. Since Deku did throw it and all that stuff. And pretty much, yeah, Deku was just... Deku was wondering to himself, why did he go to this school? Because this school is much more rowdier, since everybody keeps shouting. And Deku was like, probably this is how kids usually are. Yeah, pretty much he has the mindset of an adult. Aizawa likes him for sure, because he thinks that, hey, he's pretty much chilled. The others are jealous. Some of the people are jealous about him. Kaminari feels a little jealous because her electricity is not like Deku's. Deku is somewhat, proud of himself. And All Might's right there thinking that he's so cool. But anyway, this is when basically the whole fight happens with Deku and Ochako versus Bakugo and Ida. And this is pretty much Deku just going there and running towards, basically walking towards where Bakugo's going at. And they basically meet up. Bakugo calls him a crappy excuse for a hero, saying, "Hey, you probably got first place, but it doesn't mean anything, because I'm going to be the #1 hero." And Deku says, "Yeah, but I am going to be the #1 hero. You're going to have to settle for second place. And this is when Bakugo says, yeah, you cocky bastard! And this is when he just jumps to freaking Bakugo, to Deku. But this is when Deku says, these people are so annoying. Grabbing him in his face, throwing him backwards. And this is when Bakugo regains his composure, or not composure, his balance. And he says, you got lucky that time. And Deku says, why don't you go again and see how lucky I get this time? And he says, fine. Running to him and starts shooting blast around him. And this is when Deku is just dodging dodging most of his moves, getting hit in the process. But this is when he just turns around and smashes him in the face with his fist. And what happens was this. Deku just grabbed one of the pills that he has. He does make these, but it's very hard to somewhat get it right. So the fact of the matter that he's using it basically means that it's a success. Now we get to the whole point where Deku just walks behind him and just punches him in the face. After that, grabbing him. And starts punching him and punching him and punching him and punching him and punching him. After that, gutting him in the freaking, basically punching him in the gut so hard that Bakugo throws up a lot. And he grabs his legs and shocks grabbing his legs and going to slam into the ground. He summons a lot of electricity into the whole body. Bakugo is passed out and basically smoking. Deku just runs to the other part of the freaking thing. Deku just starts to charge up to Ida. Ida was going to kick him, but this is when Deku sees he technically teleports back into his regular original, or he turns back to his original form, doesn't know what's happening, and gets kicked in the face. After all of that is done, Deku is just going around, and basically, he falls to the ground. And this is when El Chaco is there and trying to help out or get the freaking thing. And pretty much Deku is up in the ground looking at Ida grab freaking El Chaco. And this is when he grabs Ida's head and he says, you're made of, your whole body, your whole armor suit has metal in it. And he says, yeah, why do you ask? Just asking. And just shooting a bunch of electricity into him, causing freaking Ida to pass out because he, for some reason, turned into an oven, almost blowing up in the instance. So, Deku just says, well, Chaco, are you okay? And she sees this, all she sees is this macho dude just talk to her, and she's blushing. She passes out, and Deku's like, oh boy. Okay. Touches the bomb and says, I got the bomb, now I'm going to take Chaco. Picking her up, and starts running around. Kaminari's kind of mad right now. It's because, wait a minute, this was my hunk of meat. You get your own. And this is when, basically, Deku just says, alright, so since I passed, it's kind of weird doing this. Because he's not used to doing all this before. So, yeah, pretty much getting, pretty much passing actually helps him out a lot. Now, this is when Deku just starts to walk home. Freaking Bakugo does his thing still and says that he's going to win no matter what. He was going to basically, get out of the freaking thing, but at the same time, he knows that he's going to be just someone who annoys him a lot. Now, Deku just automatically runs to freaking, he runs home and talks to his brother. Kota is very happy for him to actually pass. And, yeah, pretty much that's where I'm going to leave it off. Why? Because I got a lot more what-ifing to do. Now, like, comment, and do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout What If here. Bye.